What's up, guys? Kelly McKay here, aka HVAC Millionaire, right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, and leave me a comment below. Also, be sure to check out the links listed in the description of this video. So today I want to talk about the customer journey. So the customer journey, if it was going to start right here, right? This is like obscurity. Like they don't even know who you are. They don't know you exist. They don't know anything about you. And if we were to take this customer on this journey, and we went all the way around to here, with this being the final touch point, which there's never a final touch point, by the way, which we'll talk about. Let's separate this into, let's say, thirds, right? We separate this into thirds. We've got before what? Probably before the sale. Because if we've got to make a sale in order for them to actually become a customer. So we've got the before period of the sale, and we've got during, which is like providing your service, delivering your products, your service, and then you have after. So there's three things to think about here. Before, what are we going to do to attract people? Well, one of the things we can do that's free is start a Facebook page and start posting on that page. There's a few people who out in the Facebook community do this very, very well. And it's so impressive. And I really love watching them because it just makes me smile to see these guys get on camera and just talk about a system that they're working on or talk about a customer struggle that they've just found. And that's really simple to do. You just got to turn your camera on and get started. And there's never a right time, and you can't worry about being perfect on camera, because it's just not going to happen. You're going to make mistakes. Who cares? And part of the mistakes is what's kind of cool about it, because people will actually resonate with that because you're being authentic. You're just being you. So I'm just being me right now. It's hot outside. I hope all you guys are busy. You know, I'm going to wear my tank top today. I don't care. I don't care that this may not look super professional when I'm teaching business strategies, but I don't give a crap because I'm just going to be me. So, and there's nothing better than just being able to just be you. It just doesn't matter. So, I mean, it doesn't matter as far as like, there's just it's liberating. You're free. You're just free to be you. So be you on camera. That's part of what you're selling. You know, one of the things that I teach in our coaching program is, what do you believe in? Like, you have to have a customer story, not a customer story, but a story to tell your customer. So what is your story? Whether you're a technician or a comfort advisor or an owner, what's your story? You should be sharing that with the customer every single time. You know, I believe that customers deserve to have honest, quality service at a fair price. If that's what you believe, you should be sharing that with the customer. But then tell your story too. What brought you to do this? You know, it should be very short and brief, because we're not there to just talk about us. We're there to ask questions and find out more information about our customer so that we can determine how we're going to best serve them. But in the before process, that's one of the easiest things you can do. There's multiple other ways. I mean, you could use direct mail. You could use billboards, TV, that kind of stuff, but that's going to be more for branding, in my opinion, especially billboards. Like TV can get you some direct response, but then you can use also direct response marketing, not just postcards, but actual letters, and that's one of my favorites. And then we've got, Google, pay-per-click, Google local services, of course, like the dreaded Angie's leads and Nextdoor and Thumbtack and all these different ways to collect, you know, with these third parties. You know, when these third parties, I'm going to go off on a tangent here just for a moment, because you guys can relate. When these third parties first came out, I cannot remember what it was called. It was like Magic Serve or something magic. And it was actually, that's what Angie, Service Magic, maybe something like that. I don't remember, but they solicited me like crazy for years. And I kept telling them, quit calling me. I'm not interested. Because it just pissed me off to hear how these companies were coming in here, being a third party to our business. They don't do anything. They got a website and they market. That's it. I'm sorry, but that is it. That's all they do. And they're taking a piece of my money. And they don't understand how hard it is to go earn that money, right? They have no clue. And so I would just get irate when I heard these people, who was stepping into our space. And what do you know? It wasn't but a couple years later, that Service Magic or whatever the hell their name was, they turned into Angie's Leads or Angie's Services or whatever they're called. Yelp is another one. They're all just these third-party people who are just making money off of us, and I hate it. However, you got to play the game. So if you're going to play the game, you got to have a strategy to play the game. So there's all those other options that we just talked about. There's also Google My Business. If you don't have a Google My Business page, you should get that taken care of. And when you establish a Google My Business page, you really should have a place of operation. That way, you can be put on Google Maps. And I'm no expert at this. Like, talk to a local marketing agency or talk to a well-known, proven, with a track record of good customer service marketing agency. So there's all these options, right? That's before the sale. You've got all those options in order to, all the different forms of social media. Also, that most of those are all free, or you can put a little bit of money towards them to get a little bit of traction. So especially if you make several posts and one gets a little traction, we'll boost that post. Just make sure that you go into there and you set it for your region, because all the time I see companies posting, Pennsylvania companies will come up on my Facebook feed. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You're just wasting your ad dollar. And every dollar you spend, you got to go make 3 or 4 just to pay for it. So you got to consider that. Don't just be dumping a bunch of advertising money just because you get a little bit of money, especially as the summer ramps up and money starts flowing. So you got before the sale. Then you've got during the sale. That could start at the phone call. Like, you answer the phone. That's where it starts, right? And then you've got to be good enough to book the call. And then you've got to be good enough to convert the call. Whether it's a service technician going out there or a comfort advisor. So you got to book the call, and then you've got to convert the call. And then after that happens, you got to deliver your service. Well, we can add that here in during, because that would be during. So you're going to deliver your service also. This is going to be marketing, getting yourself from obscurity to being known. However you go about that. So many different ways. There's also like guerrilla style marketing, which is like handing out business cards. Like, it should be a contest with yourself. If you don't have enough work or you're trying to grow your business, every single person on the company should have business cards, and you should make it a weekly contest. Who hands out the most business cards? And on those business cards, I always recommend having something to entice the customer to actually hang on to the business card. So put like a 5% off when presented at time of service for any repair. So make sure to always specify for repair, or you'll get these jerks who want 5% off an install when you're not willing to do that. So be sure to do all of that, or maybe like half off diagnostic fee when you present this card at time of service. But something that gives them incentive to hang on to that sucker. But then you've got, places like pull up your bootstraps. That's what they call it. Like pounding the pavement. If you've ever heard that, these are all just sayings that are like, okay, I've got a low budget, but I've got time. If I got time, then I should be out there marketing my services. Like, you don't got time to just sit around and wait for the phone to ring, which is what most contractors do. If you don't have enough business after the summer's over, right, you may be getting enough trickle business off all these other bigger companies that get busy and can't get to everybody. So that's how you gain some service, which is great. But that will go away if you're not capturing that customer during the process. If you're not converting them and delivering a service or closing the deal, right? Converting would be like closing some kind of a deal. And you need to be doing your best job possible to collect them into your database to where you're going to do some repeat business with them. Repeat business is where it's at. You got to collect that email. You got to collect that, of course, address, phone number. What's wrong? You got to take thorough notes during the call. You got to do all of these things to make sure, which is why it's so important to have a CRM to store all of that stuff. That way everybody else can see it too in the future. You send another technician out, you got to make sure he can look up the history without it being this big whole thing. Like in the old days, we would pull past invoices. So you have to go through files and files and files, like thousands of files of customer information to go find. We'd find the invoice number in QuickBooks, and then we have to go to a file, a file, and dig it out and see what we actually did. So it's way better to, and you can look at the invoice too in QuickBooks too, if that data has been transferred efficiently. Like everything you wrote on the invoice got transferred onto the invoice that was produced in QuickBooks. But that's why having a CRM is so important, because it's just all there, and then everybody can access it and look and see what's been going on. And you can also tag what happened on the last call too, and then you can search by those tags. So later in the season, when you really need some business, you can use that in the future for that business. Then we have after the sale. So that we've delivered our service, whatever that service was. We did a good job at booking the call, converting the call, closing the deal, delivering the service. Now we got after. We've got follow-up, maybe after the job is completely finished, before we leave the house, which could be considered during, but let's call it after. We've got a quality control checklist, something to ensure that we're going to have minimum callback. So we've got quality control, QC. Then we have more follow-up, and I'm just going to call it relationship building. We want to constantly be strengthening that relationship with the customer. Now, at the coaching business, I do horrible at this because I'm not out there, I'm not like it's not that I don't want to help people and I don't want to serve people. It's that I'm not going to just bust my tail for people who are just not absolutely interested in fixing their business. So if they want to continue to struggle, maybe they're not in enough pain yet. I talk to a lot of business owners who aren't in enough pain yet. And if they don't ever reach that point where it's super painful, they're probably not going to do anything. And sometimes that's 20 years down the road, and they're still doing the same crap they did for the previous decade. So I'm not going to chase those people. If you don't want to do work, if you don't want to fix some things in your business and actually grow it and get excited about life and business again, I don't want to work with you. So anyhow, we got to keep building this relationship. So it's a little bit different in this business. If you're running your HVAC business, you need those customers over and over and over and over and over again. So you got to continue to build a relationship, continue to follow up, send them marketing pieces and specials and deals and holiday specials and newsletters. Huge proponent of newsletters. Some of the biggest companies, this is something nobody talks about, but some of the biggest companies out there are doing a monthly newsletter, at least a digital monthly newsletter. I like the physical personally because it's just cool to get one. I actually subscribe to a newsletter that I get in the mail every month. I enjoy that. I read it every time I get it. I'm like, cool, I got a newsletter. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to read that whole thing because I enjoy it and I'm learning. So you need to help educate your customer, help them get into a better relationship with you by but by sharing your life. Some of your life and some of what's going on in the business with them, so they can kind of keep up to date with what you guys are doing. But if you're not doing that, those are things that we should be doing. So this is a ton of information here, I know, but if you're not doing all of these things, we can help you implement these things. We can help you get a lot better at them, because what happens is, if this is a nice circle, right? I mean, forget that I split it up into thirds. This is a nice circle. It's a nice beginning, middle, and end. Well, here's what a lot of the businesses out there look like. I'm going to say the majority of businesses. I'm going to say 80% of the businesses look like this. It's just a big blob. There's no rhyme or reason. Nothing's in order. It's completely disorganized. It's completely frustrating, and eventually it burns out the owner because he just gets sick, or she gets sick and fed up of being sick and fed up. So if you don't want this to happen, and if you're running your business like a blob, click on one of the links below, click the training that I've got down there, and book a call with me, and let's see if we're a good fit to work together. And other than that, that's all I got. So love you guys. Hope you're having a great summer so far. It's just getting started. The cooler temperatures are taking You know, it's been unusually cool, but it's going to definitely heat up and get a lot warmer very, very quickly. I think just even this week. So go make money. Boom.